There is a very good reason why you are watching me shave my legs, but probably because you clicked on a video that's talking about shaving your legs and how weird it is for cyclists to do so, but that's besides the point. So the majority of the video topics that I do get that don't cover like a race or something that I do, they tend to come from people asking me questions about cycling. Because especially where I live, cycling is not the biggest sport. I live in the southeast of the states, so it's just not huge. It is getting bigger, but it's still not the biggest thing out there. So I have been doing it for well over 10 years now, and it's very hard to put you in the mindset of somebody that just has no idea what is going on. And there's not a lot of sports out there like bicycle racing, if you want to call it that instead. So I remember whenever I first started, one of the very first things that I thought of was, why in the heck would I shave my legs? That's weird. And I had somebody ask me that, and they thought 100% it was just because of being aerodynamic. That is only part of the equation, and it's not even that much. I would not shave my legs if it was because of just being more aerodynamic. Because let's face it, I'm not a professional. So once I first started to pursue the elusive answer to this question of why would I shave my legs, it was a little bit more interesting than I first thought. So whenever I was, I guess maybe 15, whenever I started trying to think if I should shave or not, I honestly thought that it was all about being aerodynamic. I was a dumb kid, now I'm just a dumb adult, but I did want to be the best in my area with hairy legs. I was like, man, all these weirdos are gonna shave, I'm not, and I'm gonna crush their souls, because I thought it was just an aero advantage. So let's talk about being aerodynamic just for a second. I could spend a couple videos on the benefits of shaving your legs to be aero, because there is mixed results. I do know that in the late 80s, could have been early 80s, I guess, there was a professor, I think it was like Chester Kyle, I believe was his name.
Professor retired Chet Kyle.
He actually did a wind tunnel test, but it was a mini wind tunnel test, so you couldn't fit a whole human body in there to see if it was more aerodynamic. So he took half of a leg, it was a fake leg, and he did the wind tunnel test, and then he glued hair on it, did the wind tunnel test again. So this fake leg was not in motion, and it was a very different scenario. So that, I think, was 0.6% advantage having your legs shaved. Not much. The pros are barely gonna notice 0.6% of an aero advantage. That's what everybody went by, was that study for 30 years, I think. And then in 2014, another study was done. This one was a little bit more of an accident. The guy just kind of forgot to shave his legs, and he thought it was a great opportunity to try out the study again. Now they're claiming that they came about and found that it was a 7% advantage. That's a different story. 7% is quite a bit, especially if it's over a TT or something along those lines. But with all of that being said, they've only done that one extra study, so they don't want to claim that it's going to be the new standard, that it's super aero and that everybody should do it, but it is something to think about. But let's move on to the real reason why cyclists, especially us as amateur cyclists, shave our legs. So there is an old saying, especially in cycling, it is not if you're gonna crash, it is when you're gonna crash. Herein lies, with that old saying, why we shave. So when crashing on a road bike, mountain biking you do crash more, but usually if you crash on a mountain bike, you dust off, you get up, you got some bruises, you're good to go. If you crash on a road bike, you typically don't just walk it out. It hurts a lot more. So I want you to picture, well, don't even picture it. The next time you're in your car, get your car up to 25 miles an hour. It's about what we average. We do get it up to 40 or 50 on a long downhill, but you don't sit there at that speed. So picture about 25 miles an hour. Roll your window down, stick your head out, and then just imagine being in spandex and jumping out of your car door. That's what a road crash is gonna feel like. Not to mention, if you're with other cyclists, you might get run over, you might get T-boned. So, and the majority of it is just going to be road rash, if you're lucky. So when you do hit the pavement and you have hair on your legs, it acts somewhat like Velcro. Basically, you hit the ground, you've got hair on your legs, it just peels that skin right off. So if you have shaved legs, you do kind of glide on the ground a little bit more, and it's more of a burn than actually having your skin ripped off, which is a little bit better, not by much. So that's part of the reason. So the hitting the pavement isn't gonna hurt as bad if your legs are shaved. But more importantly is recovery. Recovery from a crash can take, weeks if you don't know how to do it properly. And the only thing I can liken it to is getting severe burns, because that's essentially what happens when you're gliding across the pavement at 30 miles an hour is your skin is just burning off. So you'll have a huge spot on your legs, just a huge open, nasty wound. And the best way to treat said wound after you clean it is with Tegaderm. Tegaderm is it Tegaderm or Tegaderm? I don't know. It's like saran wrap, but for your wounds, and it is the best crap ever. I'm not gonna go into why you want a wet wound for a surface wound like this. Just know that it heals faster. So if you can take that Tegaderm, and it is going to look disgusting after a few days, you're gonna have all this road rash. You slap that stuff on there, it's gonna heal much quicker. It's gonna stay wet, but it's gonna heal much faster. But that stuff's like saran wrap. So if you take saran wrap and you try to wrap it around like your arm that has hair on it, it doesn't like to stick very well. So you take it and you have to shave around your wound. What really sucks is if you have hair, you get the road rash and then you have to try and inch your way around the wound before you put the Tegaderm on, because you have to have no hair around it to get that stuff to stick. That's what really sucks. So remember, shaving is not about aerodynamics. It is about not getting hurt as bad and recovery. More recovery. Recovery is the main key. A lot of people, whenever I explain this to them, they're like, well then, why don't you do your arms? Why don't you do everything? Obviously you don't have to shave your head because you've got a helmet on. Hopefully you have a helmet on. Cyclists are idiots, and 2 days after crashing pretty rough, you're gonna be back on the bike training. And if you're training and you've got road rash on your legs, it freaking kills. It hurts because your legs are sitting there moving. So picture having road rash like right here, right on the side of your knee. That's what's moving the entire time that you're riding. You're gonna get sweat in it, and it's just gonna burn and hurt the whole time you're riding. So the quicker you can get this healed, the better. Your arms, you're sitting there holding on to the bars the whole time, so you can mitigate the pain if you have road rash on your arms. It is all about getting your muscles and your legs, the most important part of your cycling body, back to 100%. All right, one last thing before I do go. Use women's razors. Like mine, it's a female razor, it's made for women. Why do you want to use women's razors? Because it is made for shaving legs. Men's razors are made for shaving your face. It's a much smaller area, so those blades are pretty close together. If you start using those on your legs, they clog up so much, and it will double the time that it takes you to shave your legs. Get a women's razor, blades are farther apart, all the hair that you shave off goes right through them, and it is a godsend. So I forgot who told me that tip, but I love using the women's razors over the men's for your legs. That's what they're designed for. That's all I got for you. I really just wanted to do this one because in the past week, I had three people ask me about why cyclists shave their legs, why I shave my legs personally. And every single one of them thought that it was because I was trying to get an aero advantage, or because every cyclist is trying to be aero. It is a little bit of, you know, once you get to a certain level of cycling, everyone has their legs shaved, so inevitably you're probably gonna do it too. But it is way more about the crashing. I know many people that did not shave their legs. One crash later, they're religious about it. It makes a huge difference. So wipe away all the aero benefits, especially for us amateurs. I believe we can just take a crap in the morning and we're gonna have a better benefit from that than we would shaving our legs. But I will see all of you guys next week. Later.